Steve! Oh my goodness! Holy sh!
Well, we meet again, Cape Crusader. Anyway, welcome back to Misfit Toys. If you watched my last video, you saw me, where is it? Right there. Revive this cheap marketplace 460. And if you watched my last video, you also know I've got two of them. This one is a locked up one that came out of an RV, supposedly, which I believe. I paid $300 a piece for both of them, not from the same place. This one came out of a shed where there was a bunch of other engines sitting on a dirt floor, and the roof of the shed was in really bad shape. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, the editing of the last video and this one gets kind of weird because initially I was going to do both of the engines in one video. As things progressed, I realized that video was going to get excessively long, in my opinion, so I decided to split the engines in two. So that means to get this video started back at the beginning, we need to dive back into the depths of winter.
No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Alright, the lighting in here sucks, but at least I'm in out of the wind. Well, now that the transmission's out of the way, maybe I can find a way to get a wrench into there and get on those. No. Well, I've removed everything I possibly can to get that wrench to sit in there better. I might be able to gain a little bit more if I cut this tin plate out. I have plenty of these, so that's not a big loss. All right, now I've done everything I can do. Yes, it broke loose. Later, fartwads. So it is the next day. I've got the oil burner going in the shop, but I'm just compelled. I have to get all this crap off of this engine. That'll give me something to do while the shop's warming up, so I, tell myself that. All right, a couple of short hours later, it seems, and she's looking downright respectable, I'd say. There's the pile of everything I took off of it. For scale of reference. If you notice, I even took the exhaust manifolds off. I kind of regret that. Shouldn't surprise me any, but I got some, broken bolts there. Other side's not quite as bad. I think 2 of them broke. I don't know why that is with big blocks. I always have trouble with the bolts breaking on exhaust manifolds. Small blocks, Fords anyway, I never do. But even though it's got some broken bolts, I'm thinking we can find a fun alternative to the manifolds. If we go to the old wall O headers here, I have multiple sets of headers. Let's see, for 460, there, even though those are both 2 driver sides. There, the chrome one's over there, but I think we're going to go with these zoomies when the time comes. I think there's enough bolts there to hold those on, make her roar. So all the fancy pants YouTube channels out there have them little bore scopes that they stick in the cylinder to take a look at the rust. I went to Harbor Freight and got this one. Let's see how well it works. So here's the spark plugs, not in any particular order. This here looks to be the worst one. A little bit on that one. The rest not too bad, a little bit there. Let's see if we can take a peek in them cylinders. Alright folks, kind of a mixed bag with this. I don't even remember what I paid for this, 130? 160? Not impressed. I suppose the video quality was okay for what you're paying. The camera there on the end, it points straight, obviously. Now there is a little mirror you can attach to the end of that. Yeah, basically the camera, if the piston's up at the top of its travel or anywhere close, all you're going to see is the top of the piston. Now with that little mirror, it will allow you to see at an angle and see the piston walls. The problem was the mirror was too big to fit into the spark plug hole. So I did not get a good look at all these. It does have a memory card you can record. I did that. We'll see whether I'm smart enough to get it off of the memory card and onto my laptop. A couple of the cylinders looked pretty bad from what I could see. This one here was weird. It was like there was actually flakes of rust sitting on top of the piston. I'm going to go ahead and hit that with an air hose. And what I'm going to do, I'm only going to fill up 4 of these cylinders. I'm going to leave the engine tipped where the block line is level. This needs to go a little bit more. That way I know the acetone and ATF mixture I'm putting in there isn't like running out the exhaust or something like that. It'll be sitting in the cylinder where it needs to be. Let it sit like that a day, maybe 2 days. Tip it over, do the other side. All right, let's see what comes out of here. Might have just been carbon or something, but I don't know if you can see that, but I kind of felt something hit me in the face. It kind of actually hurts. I think I'm going to get some safety glasses on and blow on this thing for a while, try to get all that debris out of there, whatever it is, whether it's rust flakes or carbon or what. Alright, let's see how this does just recording right over the screen. There you can see some of that crust that's left. This is cylinder number 4. It's actually coming across a little better than I thought it would. So let's go ahead, show you. This is number 3. Piston's kind of close to the top, so I'm not getting much cylinder wall there, if any. This will be cylinder 2. There's some cylinder wall. Pretty crusty there. That looks pretty nasty. This might have been a waste of $300. Here's number 2. Or sorry, number 1. A little bit of, I wouldn't call it rust. Looks more like carbon? Alright, let's continuing on. This will be cylinder 5. Piston's clear at the top. We're not going to get anything for cylinder wall. Maybe just the very edge of it. Here's number 6. Again, got some cylinder wall there. Yeah, that's pretty nasty looking. 7. Nothing but piston. And 8. She's down in there. On 8 pretty good, so we're seeing some cylinder wall. Not the worst of the cylinder walls that we've seen. Always put your plugs back in. I've found that the acetone tries to evaporate. I got to mix up another batch because I still got to finish filling this one up. 460, that's a lot of cubic inches, and them cylinders are thirsty. But yeah, once that's done, I'll let her sit for a day or two. We'll flip her over, fill the other side up, see what happens. All right, you needy little fart wads out there. It's 2 days later. Before I actually rotate this over and fill the other cylinders, I'm just curious. I'm going to pull these spark plugs out and see if there's anything left in these cylinders or if it all drained down into the oil pan. Another benefit of this is because the deck is fairly level, the entire cylinder wall is being exposed to the mixture that I put in there. All right, let's see if we can get in there and show you. Cylinder 1 is tip-top full. Cylinder 2, oh man, there's no way to get in there and get light on it. Is there? It's down a little bit. Well, yeah, I just can't get in there and show you. I don't know why number 1 showed up so well. Yeah, can't get any light in there. Number 3 is down just a little bit, and number 4 is as well. I guess you're just gonna take my word for it. I'm pretty happy with that. That means the mixture is still in there doing its job. Let's flip her over and fill the other side. Obviously, I put the plugs on this side back in. Woo! Grabbing the sack there. Damn, big blocks be thirsty. And now we wait. So it's been 3 days now since I put the solution on this side of the engine. But I am going to take some time this afternoon to at least pull the plugs out of this engine, see if the solution is still inside the cylinders, and well, whether it is or not, let's see if we can get it unstuck at least today. Well, just like last time, I'm not going to be able to show you. I cannot get enough light in there, but rest assured, they've went down just a little bit, but the level is right up there with, I would say, within, yeah, a ½ inch of the spark plug hole. Let's see here. There we go. That's what I'm after. And got the bolts in it too still. What I'm going to try to do to get leverage on it, I'm going to put this flex plate on it, and we'll use it for leverage, see if we can get that engine unstuck. Ooh, I think it moved. Maybe it didn't. Maybe my imagination. No, it's definitely moving. All right, in the interest of not breaking something, I'm just going to keep going back and forth with it. Well, it may not be worth a damn, but at least it'll break loose. I am. getting a little more each time. I believe I've discovered where that little snapping noise came from. I think it was the roll pin that drives the distributor. Or maybe a cam gear or something. I am actually really surprised that I got the distributor to break loose so easily. Basically all I had to do was take the hold down off, and there's like a little tab here on the side. I tapped onto the hammer. Yeah, usually these aluminum distributors, they seize into that cast iron block. Let's go ahead and pull it out and see what happens. I can get it out of there. Ooh. Oh man. That's not hopeful. I hope it didn't mess up the cam gear. I'm wondering now if I've got a locked up oil pump. Maybe there's water down in the pan and there's ice in the pump. Alright, I'll do my best here to show you. This is the best camera angle I can get. But as you can see there, the cam gear is still turning. So that means all my timing components are good. I've turned this over and the gears are all good. So that the only logical explanation I can come up with that's left is the oil pump is indeed locked up for whatever reason. So I'll be dropping the pan. And there's the signs of water right there. Got little bubbles of water there where the distributor gear seats. It's been well over a week, probably getting close to 2 weeks since I touched this engine. I just had other stuff to do. And the temperature has not gotten over freezing. Matter of fact, it's been, for the most part, way below that. Well, we didn't get a oil pan shaped block of ice, but as you can see, there is ice aplenty. Not much else in there other than ice. Holy crap, I did not expect to be that much in there. Plus plus that good sized chunk too. Well, yeah, no wonder the oil pump was locked up. All right, folks, if you watched the first video, you know that I reached a point where the work on these engines came to a standstill because I had some back issues. We've reached that point with this engine now. Plus, it's getting really nice out, and I had to spend some time getting all the crap out of my yard from winter to get ready for mowing. Do a little bit each day. I don't want to overdo my back and make it spiral into a mess again. But anyway, let's talk about this engine and what I have managed to peck away at it on during my bad back episode. While I had the valve covers off, I barred the engine over. Everything seemed to be moving, so none of the valve train is stuck that I could tell. All the rocker arms were moving, the push rods, the valves, and everything seemed to be moving. So we're good on that front, looks like. I did put another distributor in it. I did not fix the one with the broken gear. This came out of the red truck that I pulled the engine out of that I mentioned in that engine video. Now what I'm going to do is pull the pan off of this first engine because it's already clean. I'm even going to reuse the oil out of that because it's only got a couple minutes run time. I'm even going to reuse the oil filter, and it's going to need this 90-degree angle housing off of there as well. Now, I'm not going to bore you with me changing the oil pan over and all that other crap. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because this video is getting too long. Anyway, I'm going to get back to it. Later, fartwads. Well, now it's a couple days later. Got the oil pan on there, the oil filter adapter, scrubbed it all up a little bit. Bell housing, mounting foot, all that other good crap. And as I promised earlier, we're going to try to make this a little bit of fun. The fuel system looks a little wonky there, but the reason that is all... What the hell?
Shithogs. Big, dirty shithogs.
Anyway, what I was saying is the reason I didn't trim this off short is I'm totally counting on that holly carb to leak. And when it does, I'll throw the Edelbrock on there, and the length of the line will be perfect for that. As a little side note, if you watched the first video of these two, and I know you did, I know you're stalking me. This was the oil pan that was smashed in because it got dropped or something happened to it. Initially, I threw it in my scrap trailer, but the last minute before I hauled the scrap away today, I took it out and took a chance on it and pounded it out into shape. I think it's going to be okay. I was really concerned with the way it was creased here. Trying to pound it back out, I figured it would rip that crease open, but it looks okay. Yeah, I just couldn't let it go to waste. Hey, kitty! And on the other one, I had the things blocked off here. These ones are presenting a bit of a problem, number one, because this one is rusted off in there. And number two, I seem to have misplaced the little clippy doodles that hold it in there. What I'm going to go ahead and do is clean these out and just weld them shut. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, you can't weld cast iron. If you've watched my past videos, and I know you have, because nobody else is doing it but you've seen me weld these intakes before. The 87, I welded the EGR port up on that intake, and also the 302 on my cheap F-150 trail truck down there. Kind of an interesting note because those actually welded pretty good. I don't know, maybe these Ford cast iron stuff has a higher content of whatever in it that makes it actually weld pretty decent. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and weld cast iron engine components. It's generally not a good idea, but the welding that I've done on them isn't structural. It's basically, it's not even really holding back that much pressure. There we go, all cleaned up. I stuffed a little chunk of paper towel in there to keep the metal grinding flakes from working their way in and maybe even getting into a combustion chamber. All right, this side welded pretty nicely. This side was a real mother to do. A lot of spattering and popping, but it is done. Now additionally, what you could do other than this is take you a little plate, make just a little block off plate and bolt it down by these bolt holes here. And of course, there's always the option of going to a parts store and getting the proper plugs to put in there. I could have done that, but welding is just more manly. Because pretty much all the ignition components are the same except for the distributor. So yeah, we're just going to add fuel and see what happens. The whole point of having it on the back of the truck was it's a nice day today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and the next day. And yeah, if I can't get this thing fired, I can get it in out of the rain until I get back to it. But hopefully she'll fire today and we'll get some good results. Got the little homebrew fuel system here, old lawnmower gas tank, gravity feeding into the pump, so I think we are ready to give this a shot. I'll give the carburetor a little spritz of some go juice, and I don't know if anybody's wondering about these. I got these at Dollar Tree. Package of 2 of them, I think it was like $2. Not Dollar General, but Dollar Tree. I don't know, Dollar General might have them, but damn, those are handy. It's obviously a condiment bottle, ketchup and mustard. I do have some concerns about this filter. It's getting full of crap. But we're going to press on regardless. Yeah, let's get this done. Do something. I better try another battery. Well, I chased a spider out of one of the headers. Let me do some investigating. Well, I know this probably isn't why it's not starting, but not surprisingly, if it'll focus, get in there. Try this. There we go. Yes, the Holly is leaking. That's what they're known best for. You know, I was kind of hoping that would perhaps usher in a new era of good relations between me and Holly carbs, but apparently not. Even though I don't think that is why it's not running, I guess there could be other problems with the carb. I know the Edelbrock's good. I'm going to throw it on there. Well, despite having to hop up and down, it's actually not bad working up here. Got you a handy little workbench there for keeping tools. Yeah, looking down in there, it is very rusty down in there. Bottom of the carb. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that wasn't stuck. Well, that Holly is going to go to a new home. You might know the guy. He's, what is that guy's name? Calvin. Yeah, he's got that YouTube channel with that Argyle guy. Junkyard Dogs, that's it. Yeah, it's going to go to them. Now, I was hoping the EGR plate would stay on there, but it's stuck to that carburetor very well. And yeah, it messed up this gasket coming off of there. What I'm going to do is wait for all this gasoline here to evaporate. I'll go in here with the die grinder, clean all that up, and weld that EGR hole shut. Yeah, there's a muskrat that's been goading me out in the pond here lately. Maybe I'll go see if I can take a couple shots at him while I'm waiting for this gasoline to evaporate. Gee, I wonder why it takes me so long to get video content out. I've been up here 20 minutes. He hasn't shown himself yet. I'm sure that gasoline's probably evaporated. I'll wait a couple more minutes. All right, she's all plugged up. I would like to take this opportunity to touch on this subject again. Earlier I said I don't recommend doing this, or something along those lines. Matter of fact, I would recommend against doing this. It is kind of a risky proposition. Consider that this is an exhaust port, and if you get a good sized blob of weld that falls down in there loose, it can find its way in your combustion chamber and ruin your engine. But I'm still going to do it anyway because I'm stupid. I'm daring like that. Now, as you can see, I had it built up here and had to grind it down in order for this to seal good. Now, the thing of it was, this thing here did not create a vacuum leak. It would have created a spot where hot exhaust gases would have been shooting out of there. So that's really all you're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect in here, just as long as it's low enough that it's not holding this or your gasket up. It will still seal all the way around here. And this is basically nothing. I don't know if I showed you when I did this other engine, but somebody before me had actually filled that channel up with what appears to be some sort of an epoxy or a JB weld. I don't know that I would call that a permanent solution. I would think that the hot exhaust gases would kind of break that down eventually. But hey, who am I to say? I think we are ready for the next attempt. I gotta say though, even if it's a total failure, it's a spectacular looking failure, is it not? Well, I did check for spark earlier when I had the carburetor off. Not even a damn chug out of it. I better recheck my timing or something. Well, what I'm finding, even though I did have spark earlier, when I was changing the carburetors out, I checked it then. I got no spark now, nothing whatsoever. I'm running out of daylight anyway. I'm going to, I'll still putz around with it. If I can get spark going, I'm not going to try to start it. I'll wait till tomorrow in the daylight. So later, fartwads. All right, I've got an Excel super coil on there now. Honestly, I don't want this to start, but I am going to crank it just to see if I have spark right here. I want this thing to start outside in the daylight. What the hell? Got more investigating to do, apparently. Did I not hook something up? Perplexing indeed. All right, folks, see if you follow along with me. Right now, I have the wire off of the coil. Instead of going to the distributor, it's going right through this tester onto a spark plug. This is the ground wire for the coil. It goes into this GM module. With the switch on, I'm clearly getting current there. So, grounding, yeah, when I, hold on, more banging around. Get you in position here. Zoom in. Now, as I pull that wire on and off of that terminal, I do get a little bit of a spark there. But I should only be getting that spark when this wire that I'm fiddling with is grounded out. So that tells me this module might be bad. Where can I ground that? Right there on that screw. Yeah, that's what it should be doing. It shouldn't be sparking when I pull it off that terminal. It should be sparking like what I'm doing now and shorting it out. So yeah, it's got to be that module that's bad. Got the old one pulled off. Found I had another one out in the shed. Now, ignition on. Battery is hooked up. Shrink this down a little. All right, no flash there. And no flash there. So yeah, I think this one was grounding out internally somehow. Let's hook it up and find out. All right, I'm going to to check for spark again, but I decided to set up the camera just in case she did pop off. Got a spark there. Oh, we got to keep going. Are you kidding me? You dirty bastard. I checked it. I am getting good, hot, healthy spark at every single cylinder. The only thing left it could be is, even though I'm getting spark, the spark must not be getting there at the right time. But still, you'd think it would chug, pop, or something. But I'm going to investigate that, but I'm probably going to call it good for tonight. I think I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Later, fartwads. All right, folks, it's the next afternoon. I might have some time to mess with this some more. Had to attend to mowing the yard, getting the mowers ready for the first mow. You know, just like you guys. I got other things to do other than this. This isn't my sole purpose in life, doing YouTube. Anyway, based on watching the video that I took yesterday, I've got the spark back, which we already covered last night. If you notice, there was puffs of smoke coming out of the headers. I'm thinking there actually was some combustion going on there, just not enough to pop it off. So I'm thinking the timing is too far retarded. So I'm going to give her some advance, and then we'll crank her off again and see what happens. Got the battery charged up here, got everything ready to go. I'll just turn that distributor a little bit, and we'll see what happens today. Let's see, it turns counterclockwise, so I need to turn the distributor clockwise. Try that. Let me set this down so I can lock the distributor down, then we'll get right to it. That was quite a bit, but yeah, I'm thinking it's going to need it. Boy, I think it should be in the ballpark. I did check the timing last night. Something should have happened, I would think, but we got to try something. Damn, I don't know what's going on here. Alright, I'm running out of ideas here. I went ahead and pulled the valve cover off on the one side. These are cylinders 1 through 4. Let's recheck, make sure everything is moving here that should be. And that I'll be able to also verify the number 1 cylinder is approaching top dead center after the intake valve opens. Yeah, everything on this side looks like it's moving like it should. I'm going to go to verify my timing again. Man, I can't help but think that this is something stupid that I'm overlooking. This thing should have popped or backfired or chugged or something by now. Let me show you the way to truly verify top dead center. Or at least in the rough ballpark anyway. Turn your engine over. This is the intake valve right here that you can see. I've verified it. The one next to the exhaust valve because it lines up with the exhaust port. Doodly-doo. Keep on turning it clockwise. There. The valve moved. That means the piston is on its downward stroke. When the valve stops moving, that means the piston should be coming up on its compression stroke. And there you can see the screwdriver that I got in the spark plug hole is coming up. And when it gets pretty much where it stops moving, you're going to be roughly top dead center. Yeah, there we go. about there. And that is pretty much where I've got the mark on my balancer there. The mark is at a top 10 degrees before top dead center. I'm in the ballpark here. Why is this not working? And you can see this is roughly the #1 cylinder mark in the cap adapter, which it's way off now because I've been messing with it, but that is what it was pointed at before. Okay, just to be thorough, I went ahead and pulled the other valve cover off. We're going to crank it over, check, make sure all those are working. I would like to point out it is getting fuel. I did verify that. The fuel pump has pumped the carburetor full, and the accelerator pump is squirting. Looks to me like they're all doing their thing. Plenty of travel there by my calibrated eyeball. Next thing I'm thinking is maybe the poor bastard just don't have enough compression to fire. I'm starting to get depressed over this. The mystery will have to continue for today because it is time for me to go inside and get ready for work. I suppose I should just throw a compression tester on it and be done with it. But maybe I just don't want to know the answer yet. Well, I got to be proud of myself for mounting that on the back of that truck so I could move it in and out of the shed as needed. I had no idea it was going to put up this much of a fight.
There you go.
Thank you.
What?
Come on, it's right there. Reach for it. Okay. Oh, look who wants some kibble. Hold on a second. There you go, you little nipper. Alright, so yet another afternoon fighting with this problem child of a 460. Got to chit-chatting with a guy at work last night. Told him what I was dealing with, what I was doing. And while we didn't come up with any concrete answers, he kind of did put a little bug in my ear that maybe I should revisit my ignition system. He pointed out that even though I was using a little spark checker, that really doesn't tell you how good a quality of spark you're getting. So maybe I'll check that. Alright, before we pull this outside where the lighting's better, we'll see how good the spark is in here where it's a little bit dark. Are you kidding me? I got no spark again. Folks, pardon my language, but I'm losing my fucking mind here. Oh, I don't even know where to begin to explain what I've done here. Basically, I've tried every coil I can find around here on this thing, and I get either no spark or extremely weak spark. Maybe it's just my eyesight, but these sparks that I do manage to get look extremely weak. But like I said, my eyes are getting old. I'm an old guy.
Hi, old guy! Let's hang out!
Another interesting thing that was going on, I kind of went back and forth between these two GM modules. One of them, I don't know which one now, was one of them that I thought was bad. It may or may not be. I don't know. Maybe they're both bad by now. But at any rate, at one point, I was grounding the spark plug clear back here to make sure I had good ground. One ignition module, I would get no spark whatsoever. The other one, I would get no spark whatsoever, except when I would shut the key off, which seemed very weird to me. So yeah, that kind of leaded me to believe this module might be part of my problem. But I won't discount that I could be doing something wrong. I am more than my usual bumbling self when it comes to electrical stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fuel injection coil on there, and I'm going to go ahead and lose the GM module and put a Dura Spark module on there. All right, I went down to my stash. Got a Dura Spark box here. I'm going to try it out on my buggy here. Got it plugged in. I want to verify that it actually works. There we go. Excellente. At least that's going right for me. There it is in all its glory, the Dura Spark box. It is all wired up. These two always confuse me. Crank and run. I think I got it right. I went over and check the buggy. That one has been flawless for me for years, so I always use that one as a reference. Anyway, let's see if we got spark now. Yes! Dura spark for the fucking win! And I'm spitting all over the camera here. So the good news is I've got spark in all 8 cylinders. Good and healthy, strong. One of them even zapped me pretty good. The bad news, my Dura spark docks died. Docks died? Is that what I said? I don't know. It doesn't matter. She's dead. Honestly, it's my fault. Before I got to checking the other spark plugs, I mistakenly left the key on and I got a phone call. So I was outside talking to someone for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes and the box got really hot. That's one of the Achilles heels of these boxes. It might come back when it cools off. It might not. You just never know with these. But yeah, that's one thing you don't do with the Dura spark box. You do not leave the key on. It's a mixed bag, folks. After all the trouble I've had with this, I'm optimistic it's going to start now, but I'm still pessimistic to not be expecting much. What is that about setting your sights low so you're not disappointed? Alright, I guess it's time for a compression test. But let me show you the compression numbers I got. They are absolutely dismal, way worse than I expected. There you've got cylinder number 1 with a measly 25. Even worse, cylinder number 2 with 20. Cylinder number 3 even worse with 15. Getting back better again, cylinder 4 with 25. Number 5's our big winner at 60 pounds. Cylinder number 6 was kind of hard to read. It was almost nothing, so I just called it 10. 70. Cylinder 7 has 30 pounds and 8 has 40. Now after taking each one, I gave each one of them a shot of this. I have no idea what it is other than it's some sort of motor oil. I'm guessing it's maybe 1030. Yeah, after I checked each cylinder, I gave it a shot of that oil, and then as I did, each successive cylinder's compression test, I gave the chance for the oil to get circulated in there as I cranked the engine over. I don't think it's going to help. I don't know that if I'm even going to. I'm running out of time today. I don't think I'm going to do another compression test on it with the oil in it. I'm just going to throw the plugs in and see if it makes a difference. All right, let's keep the failure rolling at this point. I should throw in the towel now, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm out of time for today. We'll give this one more shot tomorrow. I'm going to charge up the battery, let it get a chance overnight to work into the rings, maybe loosen some stuff up. Alright folks, welcome back to yet another afternoon in this endless saga, Problem Child 460. Check this out. Where'd they go? They're back there somewhere. Let me flip the camera around. Got some honkers. Yeah, and I just poured my drink all over my foot. Alright. Dumbass. Yeah, down my leg too. 3 things I'm thinking of that might help get that engine started, if it's even possible. Number 1, putting oil in the cylinders. It helps seal up the rings if that's where most of the compression is getting lost, and would help get the compression up. That's just an old trick. That's a fact. It works. I'm not sure it's going to work in this case. I think just out of curiosity today we're going to throw the compression tester on it after that oil's been sitting in it for a day and see what it did do for the compression. The number 2 thing I could do was put a more volatile fuel in it that'll light off easier with less compression. I've got some starting fluid. We'll give that a shot as well. The 3rd thing I could do is crank the engine faster. Now by doing that, you're not really so much increasing the compression, but the faster the piston comes up in the cylinder, the less time there is for your compression to leak away. So in effect, it does raise your compression, but technically not. If it comes down to trying that, I considered like trying to do a 24 volt setup with 2 batteries, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Why limit myself to 24 volts and risk burning up a starter? I've got another idea if it comes to that, and it probably will. I'm not saying that'll even work. But anyway, let's get busy. So here's your numbers. These were the originals, and I put the oiled one right there. So double on cylinder 1, 10-pound cylinder 2, almost double on cylinder 3, not a lot on cylinder 4. The same on cylinder 5, which kind of surprised me considering that was the best one. Doubled cylinder 6, cylinder 7, a huge increase, and cylinder 8 jumped way up to 85. That one really surprised me. Maybe there's hope for this after all, but I still doubt it. Now, I've given up any hope that this is going to be a usable engine, but I still want to make it run. I figure you deserve that after sitting through this shit show of a video. I did put some more oil into each cylinder after testing the compression, just because I had it, and why not? I can't make it any worse. And then I cranked it over and blew all the oil and debris and crap. Well, I know I'm sure I didn't blow all of it out, but I made a hell of a mess. There's just oil droplets all over everything out here. Oh yeah, I had a little bit of oil left in the bottle, and I just went ahead and opened up the carburetor and poured it down the intake. Get a little oil coming in through the intake valves. Like I said, I can't make it any worse. And I did check the ignition. I still have spark, so good job, Dura spark. Every so often I'll go through and crank the engine with the plugs out just to blow more oil out. Seems like you wait a little while and then do it again. Some more oil has settled down where it can blow it out. They're still blowing oil out. And yeah, on another note, I actually considered putting gear oil in these cylinders because it's thicker, obviously. But I was just really afraid that gear oil would really foul the plugs terrible. This did give me the opportunity to the Dura spark box that I killed yesterday. I plugged it back in and gave it a shot. It came back to life once it cooled off. So good job, Dura spark. Here is a perfect example of some of the crap that's blowing out of there. Pretty nasty. All right, let's get back to embracing the failure here, shall we? It chugged. There might be hope after all. Yeah, might have to clean the plugs. This might just happen. I'm so proud of you. You can do it. I believe in you. All right, let's give the starter a break. Let the battery charge up. I'm going to pull the plugs and clean them. This might happen. All right, here's what we're looking at on the plugs. They're not as bad as I thought they'd be. Why will that not focus? There we go. There's definitely some oil on it. Here's the other side. It kind of occurs to me that now she's starting to chug and fire. I'm kind of in a conflict with myself. As it burns the oil out of those cylinders, my extra compression is going to go away. So I'm kind of, what, double-edged sword? 6 one, half dozen the other? Whatever colorful euphemism you want to use. But at least I got it to chug. I'm stoked about that. It's not totally hopeless after all. keep it at a high idle. Get some heat in it. Maybe get them rings broke loose. Oh no! All right, maybe I shouldn't have got cocky, but it did run. See if I can get her fired back up. What the hell is all that? What is that crap? I think it's those pieces of rag that I had stuffed in the exhaust ports when I was grinding and welding on them. That or there was mouse nests in one of the cylinders. I'd surely not. That just looks like those towels. Alright, better let her cool off. Maybe after a few heating and cooling cycles, those rings will come out of whatever's going on in there. Maybe I doubt, I really doubt this is going to turn out to be a usable engine, but I guess it's possible. I didn't think it would run, so. Alright, it's been a couple hours now. Last time I checked, about 20 minutes ago, the engine was still a little bit warm. I'd like it to cool off completely, just out of curiosity to see how it'll start completely cooled off, but I won't have time for that today, so let's go ahead and see if we can get a second run out of this today. this sounds mean. Let's see here, show you the oil pressure. Do I dare dream that this might end up being a usable engine? What I think I'm going to do tomorrow afternoon, I'll probably give it another 2 or hopefully 3 more heating cycles. And then we will give it a compression test. Maybe there's a chance this thing might be usable. I'm really shocked it started up that easy. Anyway, you know the drill. Later, fartwads. Alright, so I don't know if I'm going to have time this afternoon to fire this off and let it cool 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and hit one this morning. I just got home from work. Looking good. Righteous. Alright, it's afternoon now. I'm on heating cycle number 4. I didn't record the startup because I figured there would be no drama, but it did give me a little trouble. My fuel tank here went dry. I had to refill it, and then when I went to crank it, it was spitting fuel out of the carb, and it actually caught on fire. Nothing major, but yeah, it did not start very slick and smooth, but it seems to be running good now. I gotta go to town and deal with insurance issues. Maybe I'll hopefully have time to get home and give this one more heating cycle. Proud of you, baby. Alright, back from town. I've been in town long enough that it's pretty well cooled off. I can just feel a little bit of warmth still. Yeah, I'm a little bit pissy after dealing with all this insurance bullshit in town. Yeah. Maybe this will get me in a better mood hearing this thing roar. Okay, so it's warmed up. I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plugs out and do a compression test while the engine is fully warmed up. I would like to point out the nice thing about these individual zoomies, it kind of gives you the opportunity to evaluate each cylinder on its own in a sense. At lower RPMs, I can put my hand over each pipe and feel the individual exhaust pulses. And I have noticed that number 7 seems a little bit weaker than the rest of them. And I also am kind of surprised how clean this thing is running, considering how rusty some of those cylinders were. So just out of curiosity, we'll take a look at the plugs. These are number 1 through 4. They look pretty good. Pretty good. I know the lighting in here isn't the best, but it's kind of a dreary day outside too. So here is 5 through 8. They look pretty good, other than number 5 looks a little bit sooty for some reason. Anyway, let's get going with this compression test. This will be the true metric of whether this engine is truly usable or not. Alrighty, here's our final numbers. This was our originals. This was after putting oil in it before I ever got it started, and these are after 5 heat cycles. As you can see, which is kind of weird, as I went through, they got progressively a little bit better each time, weirdly enough, in sequential order. I don't know what that's all about. At any rate, those are not fabulous numbers anyway. Let's see if we can throw the plugs back in to get it to start one more time, because yeah, it is grinding over really slow. I don't know if something's going wrong in the engine or if that starter's starting to lose its life. All right, let's see if she's got another go in it. Starter is pretty warm. Why is it cranking so hard now? Have I just gotten it too hot? I don't know. At any rate, with those compression numbers, I'm going to deem this not really good enough to put in a vehicle, in my opinion. It can serve a purpose for a project I would love to build. It's been rattling around my head for several years now. It'll probably never happen, but the engine will not power a vehicle itself. It will be needed to spin something. This will probably be the one for it, if I ever do it. Now, when this cools off, I might go ahead and recheck the compression and see how well it cranks over, but I don't really see that making much of a difference in my opinion of it. I'm just super stoked that I actually got the damn thing to run. So anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.